Welcome back to Thursday Beer Club. Asian lagers. Well, before we start Asian lagers, a little bit of apology. Some of you might have noticed I've been a bit quiet this week. I had a bit of food poisoning, didn't I? Oh, hit me for six. The last thing I fancied was a beer, I can assure you. So, Asian lagers, totally blind. I usually do a short, don't I, of each one, building up. I get a little bit of a taste. I sort of know where we're going. But I haven't tried any of these three. And when I say I haven't tried any of these three, I can confidently say I've never had two in my life ever. And I think I might have had an Asahi a couple of years ago, but never in any sort of quantity and never anything I can remember. So what are the beers on the bar today? Well, Asahi Super Dry. No, it's not a top, it's a beer. Sapporo Premium Beer and Carabao Lager. Now the first two you say, oh, Japanese lagers. Well, you might think they're Japanese, and they are Japanese, but they're not made in Japan. There's Asahi's made by Peroni in Italy, and the Sapporo's contract brewed in Vietnam. And the Carabao, well, that's made in Thailand. At least it's a Thai lager and it says in Thailand. So at least it's made where it's pretending to be from. So should be quite interesting. Hoping them to be quite refreshing. You know, they're all from warm, humid climate. So you should hope that you're going to get a really, well, light, refreshing drink. That's my hope anyway. I've had these in the fridge for quite some time. They've been in the fridge for well over a week. They weren't difficult to buy. These three all came from Tesco's. I went to my local Tesco's and I bought these, and none of them brought the bank. I think the Carabao and the Asahi were in an offer. I think they were 3 for 4 offer. I believe the Sapporo paid £2.90 something for it. But I tell you what, just for the jazzy looking can, you'd pay £2.90, wouldn't you? Really smart looking one. So let's kick it off, and I'm going to start with the Asahi Super Dry. I went with these big, 620ml bottle. It's 5% ABV, and I always say, don't I, my ideal strength is late 4s to late 5s. It's where the beer should be. Now, how is it looking? Lovely to look at as I'm pouring that there, and a good level of carbonation. Instantly again a nice head. I don't use one of them nucleated glasses, but it's a lovely head foaming. I can smell that from there already. Now that's smelling quite hoppy and quite malty. I was expecting, that's not got the sweet aroma. I complained about the InBev beers in particular. Your Carlins and things like that. How they smell far too sweet. There's no sweetness on the nose with that. That's actually quite a clean, crisp, maybe hop forward lager smell, but lovely to look at. Nice aroma. Let's see how we drink, shall we? Now you notice I didn't have my normal Thursday Beer Club glove there, did I? Well, necking that one back so quick, but as I say, feeling a little bit sensitive still, but oh, that was a lovely drink. That was it's dry. It is, it's gonna notes towards the end that are lingering. It's a very clean lager. That's I can see why that sells. As I say, 3 for 4 offer in them big 620ml bottles. That's a good choice. That's a good solid start to the test. Why it's brewed in Italy, because that's where Asahi Peroni Brewing have one of their major breweries. So, is it Italian? Is it Japanese? I don't know. It's not bad though. That's what I'd say. Right, the next one, Sapporo, brewed in Vietnam. This one, not a country you'd instantly think of if I said to you, tell me where there's going to be a good lager brewed. Oh, now I made a right mess of pouring and opening that one there, guys. However, It is pouring quite nice. So what does it look like in the glass? Darker, more colour to that in there, you know. There's definitely a complexion there, and the head looks more dense, doesn't it? You know, to look at it in the glass, I think that's got the edge. Oh, now maybe it's because I haven't been drinking for a week, but I'm getting caramel notes off that. Now I wouldn't normally say I'm going to get, you know, roasted caramel notes off a lager, but this does say premium beer, and I'm certainly getting the caramel notes coming through. See what it tastes like. I'd say that's more rounded. I'd say that's more towards a German style lager. In fact, I don't like the aroma. You know, everyone knows I like a Pilsner aroma. There's too much caramel. There's too much roast. Yeah, it's not a lager lot for me, but to drink, yeah, you could easily think you're drinking a Hofenbrau or a Polliner there, you could. The notes aren't good on it though, I don't like the smell, but hey, that's another solid one. Let's pour some more because we're going to be coming back to that for definite. In fact, we're coming back to the pair of them so far. It's a good start to the test. So, right, final one now. A relatively new one, brewed in Thailand since 1999. Carabao Lager. Again, the ABV on this one, 4.9, another 5%, isn't Now, instantly, very similar to the Sapporo there, or much more carbonation, I would say. Definite more carbonation than the other two. Now, we all know I don't like sweet lagers. There's a definite hint of sweetness to the aroma there. Let's see what it tastes like though, you know, often get it wrong just on smell alone. Now that is the sweetest, but it's not overtly sweet. Got a test on the go here, guys. I thought after the first two I knew where I was going. So, you know, once I smelt this, it was out bordering on the sweet. And you have to. Do you know when you drink that? You think, oh, that's a nice rounded lager. Not too sweet. The finish is quite mellow. I can see me drinking a few of them, and it's in contention. And it's still in contention, but it ain't now, because it seems to get sweeter as the time since your last drink goes on. The first 5 seconds you think, oh, quite a rounded lager. 10 seconds, not bad at all. 15 seconds, oh, is it a bit too sweet? I'm still getting sweetness from it. 20 seconds, no, not for me. So if we're going to be gulping and drinking quick, it's the one. As long as you're going to have a sip every 20 seconds, you're going to be perfectly happy. But if you maybe going to have a chat or a gap between drinking, most people do go more than 20 seconds between a drink. Nah, not for me. Perhaps this one to try in Thailand. Gotta be fair, down here in South Wales, another one today, that's an instant out. So, what are we down to? We're down to the two Japanese. We're down to the Asahi and the Sapporo. Now this Sapporo is definitely, or Sapporo is definitely the most complex. But Yeah, it's them amber notes. It's them malty roast notes that and just doesn't seem right to a lager for me. This. No, yeah. Is that too skunky on another Asahi? I don't. Guys, there's a winner, but it comes with a caveat. I'll tell you the caveat afterwards. So today's winner is the super dry Asahi Japanese lager brewed in Italy. Now use the but. It's not a German lager. It's not a German Pilsner. You wouldn't live with Polliner or Warsteiner. I wouldn't buy it. It's today's winner, and I won't be buying it again. It's not offensive. It's not overly delightful. It's just an average lager. There's better out there for your money. There's better in the supermarkets, and I wouldn't recommend it. So there we go. Not a disastrous test, not a test I particularly enjoyed. As we say, I wasn't looking forward to it. I haven't been right. Maybe the beers on the bar didn't have a chance. I tell you what has got a chance though. Next week, we're going back to my love. We're going back to British ale. And this one's down to a friend. Mr. Dury, if you're watching, this is all down to you. You keep sending me photos of yourself drinking Newcastle Brown, and I think, oh, it's been a few years since I've had a nice Newcastle Brown. So what will go with Newcastle Brown? It's got to be London Pride, haven't it? Newcastle, London. I thought, I need a Welsh one. Couldn't really do Brains SA again, could I? I'd done the SA Gold not 7 or 8 weeks ago. So I was in Morrison's today, picking up the London Pride, picking up the Newcastle Brown, and there it was, Marston's Pedigree. I thought, ideal. So I've got 3 really classic British ales for us next week, and I'm looking forward to that test. And I promise, watch out for the shorts on YouTube and TikTok now over the week. Business will be back to normal. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me in the Snug. Hope you are keeping well, enjoying your beer with family and friends. Hey, as I say every week, like and subscribe really is important. Leave some comments, leave some suggestions. Really do read them all, try and respond when I can, and take all the suggestions on board. What I'm thinking in the coming weeks, I think I might do another brewery focus, and well, one of the modern classics, Thornbridge Brewery from Sheffield. Got some absolutely outstanding beers. You know, Jaipur, as far as I'm concerned, reinvented the modern IPA category and defines it almost. So definitely look at Jaipur. Maybe Green Mountain. Green Mountain, you might have seen me on my shorts mention it before. One of my favourite beers out there at the minute. And maybe look at their Lucas Lager, or maybe one of their strong Imperial Stouts. I don't know. You guys tell me, and we'll go from there. But as I say every week, drink sensibly, enjoy your beer, and see you next week at the Snug.